inviting me this evening to speak to you about a couple of the Broward County charter amendments. I am Broward County Commissioner Stacy Ritter, and I live in the northwest section of the county. So for those of you who live downtown, you are really, really lucky. And I envy you living on the east side of town, although the west side is beautiful, right, Carol? Beautiful. And just so that you all know, I am
far away.
It's very far away, and I'm usually not down here at 8:30 at night. Although it's Tuesday, sometimes the commission meets until 11 or 12, and I am. And just so that you know, I'm taping this for my own for my own use. I want to get Alice's and Carol's permission on tape to use your images, but we put a lot of this stuff on YouTube, so people who don't have an opportunity to come hear me, or people who I can't speak to directly can listen to what's important to Broward County residents. So, first of all, Carol did a really great job of explaining the ethics ordinance that was passed unanimously by the commission in August. And I thank you for setting it up, because you are right. It isn't often that you need background to figure out what a charter amendment does or does not do. While the Ethics Commission was meeting, the Broward County Ethics Commission was meeting, I was in conversations with the county attorney to draft an Inspector General ordinance. And at the direction of the county attorney, I decided that we would not vote on it until August, when we were doing an entire ethics package. So we voted on an ethics ordinance. At the same time, we voted to put an Inspector General on the ballot. In the ethics ordinance, which was passed, there is an Inspector General provision. As Carol said, we haven't chosen the Inspector General yet, and by the way, the county does not choose the Inspector General. It is it's a separate selection committee that has nothing to do with county officials. But because we just haven't had time to put it together, the selection committee has to meet, they have to go through resumes, it has to be noticed, because the county, you know, when you do stuff in the county, everything has to be publicly noticed. We don't do anything behind closed doors. And we haven't been able to set up an Office of Inspector General yet. So while it's in the ethics ordinance, first of all, it's not set up yet, and second of all, that Inspector General would only have authority over the 9 county commissioners. In conversations with the county attorney, and looking what was going on in Tallahassee with respect to ethics, it was my belief that we needed an Office of Inspector General with much broader powers than simply to investigate the 9 county commissioners, and it needed to be in the charter. And the reason it needed to be in the charter as opposed to being an ordinance was that if it's an ordinance, on any given Tuesday, 5 county commissioners can change the law, can change an ordinance. But if it's in the charter, it requires the voters of Broward County to approve a charter change, which makes it much harder to change. And while it's never set in stone, because the law is always fluid, since it's harder to change, you know it'll be there for a lot longer. So what does this charter change actually do, the one that establishes an Office of Inspector General? First of all, the selection committee that is appointed to pick an Inspector General is 5 individuals, among whom are the state attorney or a representative from the state attorney's office, the public defender or a representative from the public defender's office, and some law enforcement officials out of Miami-Dade County that have nothing to do with Broward. We don't choose the selection committee. They meet and they'll choose the Inspector General. The Inspector General has the authority to investigate misconduct and gross mismanagement, but not just of the 9 county commissioners. That authority will extend to all elected and appointed officials and employees of Broward County and its municipalities, plus, which I think is really important, it also applies to the vendors and lobbyists who do business with the county. So not only will the Inspector General be able to investigate elected officials, but will also be able to investigate private residents who do business with the county. The Inspector General, upon a finding of good cause that is defined by the Inspector General, can investigate on his or her own initiative or based on a signed verified complaint, a complaint alleging misconduct or gross mismanagement. If the complaint is determined to be malicious, then the complainant, the person who files the complaint, will be liable for the costs of the investigation. In addition, excuse me, the official or employee who is cleared of any misconduct related to a complaint can be reimbursed for his or her attorney's fees. Now, I know this has become a really controversial part of this proposal. And I've been asked why I wrote in there that you can get your attorney's fees back if the complaint is dismissed as being invalid. And I didn't make this up. This wasn't something that I thought about in my own head. This is actually already in state law, in that the Ethics Commission, the Florida Ethics Commission and the Florida Elections Commission, which investigates elections violations, and the Ethics Commission, which investigates alleged ethical violations of elected officials, actually has this provision that if a complaint is dismissed as being unfounded, then the person who did the complaining has to reimburse the fees for the person who was under investigation. And in this day and age, I got to tell you, as you probably know, there's an angry mood out there among constituencies, and the filing of complaints has become more prevalent. The filing of malicious complaints has become even more prevalent. So it seemed only fair that if an elected official has to spend thousands of dollars defending his or herself against an invalid complaint, that you'd be able to get those reimbursed. While the Inspector General will not have the ability to put people in jail, he or she will have the ability to fine, reprimand, or censure, and then can also turn over the complaint of misconduct to the appropriate agency, whether it's the state attorney, the FBI, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, or any other law enforcement agency. And again, most importantly about this is that the voters of Broward County have to approve it. It's not going to come up because the county commission wants it. It's going to come because the voters of Broward County think it's necessary. And while I cannot stand here and tell you that this will guarantee that no elected official in Broward County, no vendor or lobbyist in Broward County, no employee who works for Broward County will ever be found guilty of misconduct, I'm hoping that it will go a long way to restore public confidence in Broward County and our ability to govern. So that's basically what that one does. And I don't know if you guys want me to go through the 3 and 4 real fast, or you want to,
2 and 3.
or not?
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Yeah, because yours is 4.
Oh, yeah, mine's 4. There you go. I was thinking mine is 1 because to me it's the most important one. That was number 4. Thank you. Number 2. Carol explained to you the new Broward County Code of Ethics that was passed by the County Commission in August, and on the yellow sheet that the league passed out, they did a really excellent job of putting together in just a couple of paragraphs what the new Code of Ethics does. And it is, again, only for the County Commission. So Charter Amendment number 2 asks the voters if you want this ethics code to be extended to municipal elected officials. Your commissioners in Fort Lauderdale, for example, and all the other cities in Broward County. And Charter Amendment number 3 asks the Broward County voters if they want to extend this code of ethics to the constitutional officers who are the sheriff, the property appraiser, and the supervisor of elections, so that everybody is under this new ethics code. And if I may just briefly give you an idea of how the ethics code works, practically speaking. Today I attended the Coral Springs Community Chest Luncheon. The Community Chest is a nonprofit organization that raises money to give to other nonprofit organizations like Family Central and Lighthouse for the Blind and and other sorts of agencies in Broward County that are nonprofit. And the luncheon was held in a restaurant in Coral Springs. And the luncheon was being underwritten by the owners of the restaurant for the members of the Community Chest and the recipients of the funding to come and have lunch and get their checks. Well, as I think every one of my colleagues do, I contacted the county attorney to make sure that I could take the lunch because it was available and it was being underwritten by the restaurant. It turns out the owner of the restaurant is affiliated with a law firm that does business in Broward County. So I had to pay $15 for the lunch, and everybody else got to eat for free. So while I'm not complaining, I love my job, and I don't care how much it costs me to do it. It's interesting that there is a perception out there that elected officials get lots of stuff for free. Under the new Broward County Code of Ethics, it will actually be the elected officials that will be paying everything, and a lot of members of the public will be able to get stuff for free. But that's just a new change in Broward County, a new day in Broward County, and I hope it's a positive thing. I know it's a positive thing, I just hope that that perception extends to the public that yes, we are actually cleaning house in Broward County and getting our act together. So those are the 3 charter amendments. Spent a lot of time on number 4. We spent 6 months working on it and hope that we've gotten a product that the voters of Broward County will approve.